If you pick the wrong structural upgrades when you're building a new construction home, you could end up hating that home before you even move in. And I don't want that to be the case for you. So today I'm going to give you my honest take on the structural upgrades worth every penny in Northeast Florida and a few that I would personally skip. And if you agree or disagree with anything on my list, drop it in the comments. I want to hear from people who actually have also been through this before. Let's go ahead and hop in. So my number one structural upgrade recommendation in Northeast Florida when it comes to new construction is going to be the 3-car garage. If your lot and your builder allow for it, the third bay is almost never about a third car. It's about storage. A golf cart, your bike collection, lawn equipment, whatever the case. In Florida specifically, a lot of my buyers end up with a golf cart within their first year of living here, and that third bay really becomes essential. Most production builders in Northeast Florida, they offer a 3-car configuration on lots that are wide enough, typically 55 and higher lots. Plan for somewhere between 12,000 to 20,000 depending on the builder and the configuration. That number feels significant until you try to add it later and realize that it's essentially impossible without like a massive renovation. A 3-car garage, if your lot allows for it and if your budget allows for it, definitely do it without any hesitation. And here's something I tell my buyers relocating from northern states specifically. Back home, you probably had a basement, a full furnished or unfurnished basement that held your holiday decorations, your off-season gear, just basically the overflow storage that that didn't have a place in the main living space. Florida doesn't have any basements. The water table makes them pretty much impossible to have here. So that storage space has to go somewhere. And for most of my clients who move here from Ohio, New Jersey, Michigan, Illinois, New York, whatever the case may be, that 2-car garage, it fills up really quickly. And when it is also your storage solution, a 3-car garage gives you the breathing room that the basement back home gave you before. Now, number 2 is going to be a 3-parter. And it's one of those upgrades that costs relatively little but changes how a home feels in a way that is genuinely just hard to describe until you've experienced it. 8-foot doors throughout the entire home. Standard interior doors in most production builder homes are typically going to be about 6 feet 8 inches, and that's fine in a home with 8 or 9-foot ceilings. But in Northeast Florida, where 10-foot ceilings are common and 12-foot ceilings especially in like your living room spaces, that's starting to become the normal. A standard height door is just going to feel wrong. 8-foot doors fix that almost immediately. 8-foot exterior entry door, your first impression every single time, you got to do it. And tray ceilings. This is one that relocating buyers from northern states, they almost never think to ask about. And when they see one in a model home, everybody just immediately wishes they had it. A tray ceiling is a recessed section of your ceiling, typically in your primary bedroom or dining room or, formal living room, that really just adds architectural depth and a sense of elegance that flat ceilings they can't match. In Florida, we have higher ceiling heights as a standard, and it pairs exceptionally well and makes the space feel genuinely custom rather than production built. The reason this belongs in the structural section is that adding a tray ceiling after the fact requires opening up the ceiling and restructuring the framing above it, which is significant finish work. It's one of the most expensive and disruptive things to add after closing. During the build, it's going to be a fraction of the cost. If your builder offers a tray ceiling option in your primary bedroom and the main living areas, I would take them. 8-foot doors, 8-foot entry, tray ceilings where your builder offers them, definitely do all 3. Now, number 3 is going to come down to how you personally live, but hear me out before you decide. So in your secondary bedrooms, I would strongly consider the structural upgrade to remove the standard tub insert and replace it with a stand-up shower. Most adults do not take baths in a secondary bathroom tub. Those tub inserts combos are the least elegant fixture in most new construction homes, and they're one of the hardest things to change after you close. Now, if you have young kids, the tub conversation changes. My recommendation, keep one tub in the secondary bath that's most accessible to your kids' bedrooms and convert the others. Drop a comment in the section below. Did you keep your secondary tubs or convert those to showers? And if you have kids, did you regret it either way? I'm genuinely curious what people have experienced because I hear both sides when it comes to this. Now, this one is specific to Florida, and it's one of the most important structural upgrades I talk to buyers about. That's going to be your covered lanai extension. In Northeast Florida, your outdoor space is usable pretty much year-round. The covered lanai is where Florida living actually happens for most of my clients. The standard lanai coverage from most builders is going to be pretty modest, often 10 by 12 or 10 by 16. An extended cover lanai at 20 by 20 or larger, it's going to give you the actual outdoor living space. You're going to have room for a dining table, a seating area, a grill setup. That's not optional space in Florida. This is your daily living space. And while you're doing the lanai, and while we're having the lanai conversation, ask your builder about a gas line rough-in to the patio. Getting a gas line run into your outdoor space during construction, it costs very little. Getting it added after the concrete is poured and the irrigation is installed, that is going to cost significantly more. Extended cover lanai, gas line to the patio, definitely do both. Now, number 5 is one of the ones that a lot of northern states also completely overlook because they've never had to think about it before moving to Florida. And that's going to be the generator pre-wire. In Northeast Florida, this is not optional in my opinion. I think it's a necessity. We live in a hurricane season country. Power outages happen sometimes for days, sometimes for several days after a significant storm. Getting your home pre-wired for a generator during the build means that the electrical panel is set up with the proper transfer switch infrastructure to connect a generator safely and cleanly when you actually need it. And while you're doing this, if you're in a natural gas community, have your builder also run the gas line to wherever that generator is going to sit. So pre-wire for a generator, if applicable, at the gas line. This is a Florida specific upgrade that does not get talked about enough, and it's one that I definitely would not skip. Bonus rooms, game rooms, and media rooms. If your floor plan has an option to add one of these living spaces, I would strongly consider it. On the resale side, buyers respond really well to having bonus living spaces, powder bathrooms, the half bath with a toilet and a sink. If your floor plan has an option to add one on the main floor, take it, especially if you entertain. Your guests should not have to walk through somebody's bedroom, to access a bathroom. The bedroom ensuite bathrooms, if your floor plan allows bedrooms to have their own attached bath rather than sharing a half bath, do that for as many bedrooms as your budget will allow. None of these can be added after the fact without significant renovation, so get them right during the build. All right, now the part of the video where I talk, or where I might get a little bit of hate, but these are my honest opinions, and I would rather tell you this before you have your structural meeting rather than after. Now I'm going to say something that's going to make some people pretty upset, but I stand by it completely. Go ahead and skip the fireplace. I know, don't kill me. Y'all, we live in Northeast Florida, right? Jacksonville, St. Johns County, Ponte Vedra. Our winters last maybe 8 weeks, and in January the temperature dips into the 50s for just a few days, and everybody, including myself, we act like it's a blizzard happening. A fireplace in Northeast Florida in a new construction home is a design feature, not really a functional one. And here's the thing about a fireplace as a structural upgrade. It's not just the fireplace. It's the fireplace style, and then the mantle, and then the stone surrounding it. And then if you want it to go from the floor to the ceiling in a 2-story living room, you're carrying that stone all the way up. By the time you're done, you've spent $8,000 to $15,000 on something you're maybe going to use 6 times a year. I would take that same amount of money and put it into like a covered lanai every single time. Your lanai in Northeast Florida gets used 300 days a year. Your fireplace gets used maybe 6. Drop a comment if you love your fireplace and you think I'm wrong. Drop it in the comments. I want to hear from you. Why did you keep yours and whether you actually use it? I respect either side of this. This is just my honest take. Okay, this one's going to get a lot of slack as well, but skip the pot filler over the cooktop. I know it's a trend. You see it on every Instagram account and every beautiful model home, but in my honest opinion, it's one of the least functional upgrades you can choose in Northeast Florida. It's one of the, okay, here's the problem. It's another plumbing connection that can eventually leak. You probably don't use it that often, and for the cost, typically a couple of $1,000s, I think you get more value almost anywhere else you could spend the money. This is also one that I'm really curious on. Drop in the comments. Am I wrong on this? Tell me how often you actually use it, because I'm really open to being convinced that it's worth the money. So skip the built-in like tech niches and like upstairs homework desk areas. You'll see these in a lot of 2-story floor plans. A built-in desk marketed as like a homework station. In real life, if we're honest, it just becomes a spot where things just start to pile up. If you need a desk, get one from IKEA, put that structural budget somewhere that actually changes how your home functions. In your primary bathroom, think carefully about the freestanding tub. They photograph really well, they're beautiful, and they look incredible in the model homes. I get it, but in daily life, they are harder to get in and out of than a standard soaking tub and significantly harder to clean around. My honest advice is this: if you love the idea of a soaking tub in your primary bathroom, ask about a large built-in soaking tub with a tile surround rather than freestanding. You get the same luxury experience with better functionality and easier maintenance. Hey, so I just want to quickly pause. If you're going through a structural meeting right now, or maybe you're getting close to one, maybe you're ready to finally start taking new construction serious, reach out to me when you are ready. Of course, I've helped a lot of buyers figure out their specific floor plans, their specific options, and I have really close connections with the builders. I would love to help you get the best deal possible. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Let's go ahead and hop right back into the video. Okay, so just a few honorable mentions to add into your home. Impact windows. In Northeast Florida, impact rated windows are increasingly standard in new construction, but not always. If your builder doesn't include them as a standard, the upgrade to impact glass is worth it. Hurricane protection is a pretty big thing here, and it also significantly reduces outside noise. Pre-wire for a smart home package. Getting the wiring infrastructure for a smart home system during construction is dramatically less expensive and invasive than adding it in later. And then finally, gas lines throughout the home. Make sure the kitchen is plumbed for gas. If you want a gas range, getting a gas run to the kitchen after the fact, that's going to be a significant project. So getting these decisions right during the build is very important. You're not going to have another chance, and more than likely you're going to spend a lot of money if you do it later. Y'all, the structural meeting is one of the most important conversations you will have during a new construction buying process, and most buyers, they walk into it completely unprepared. That is not going to be you after this video. So if you're building or considering building in Northeast Florida and you want someone who they know the builders, they know the floor plans, and they would be in your corner before even meeting any of the builders, reach out to me. My info is here on the screen. I've helped a lot of families make this move and build homes from the ground up. I would love to offer you that same help. Now, I chose these two videos because they go hand in hand with what we just went over. You can watch a video on new construction contracts, how to negotiate, and 10 home upgrades you should never make. Go watch one of these videos. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.